Slave DiBiase.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Happy Friday. Welcome to another live 420 sesh with the Offenders Initiative podcast. I am your illustrious host, Slave DiBiase, aka Slave Daniel Richards, aka Victor Von Slay, aka the Slay Who Remains, aka Tony Spark. And we are here, man. What's going on? It's another Friday. You feel me? How everybody feeling today? You know, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Salute to everybody that may digest this content, whether religiously or in passing. And thank you for always pulling up and let me know what you like so I can continue doing it for you. Don't forget, once again, to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments what you're smoking on, what you're smoking out of, and where you're from. Always remember that. I like my supporters. I like my camp folk from wherever they from, man. As long as you fucking with me, I'm fucking with you. You feel me? But yeah. All right, man. Y'all see the caption? RDJ as Iron Man and Doom. Remember, we've been talking about this. I've been talking about this for a little bit, that Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid $120 million. I don't think he's just playing one motherfucking person. And if they outsourcing him to play more than one person, you can believe that that's why he's up 120 mil for these movies. Secondly, the alleged deleted scenes and extensions and post-credit scene that they're going to add to the re-released version of Avengers Endgame in September. As y'all can see, I got it playing right here or whatever. Yeah, how many people are actually going to go see Avengers Endgame back in theaters with the new post-credit and deleted scenes added and all that? I know I will be. Probably gonna end up taking my whole family and we're gonna watch the whole thing. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So let's see what we can do here. Because I'm down to my the last on this one. It's time to roll up another blunt. That's how you know it's a good session. Okay. But first, while we doing all of that, let's see if we can get into a little bit of an appetizer. Let's see. We have new reports of some goings on with Spider-Man Brand New Day. I just wanted y'all to check this out, man. Come on, check this out with your boy right quick. This is by way of the Cosmic Wonder. Hold on, y'all. Hold up. It's by way of Cosmic Wonder. Don't forget to give that gentleman a good like, comment, and subscribe. We love everything that he does, and let's check it out.
Leagues to go over today. One is an actual picture from the movie of Sadie Sink's character with the Punisher. Another is Mark Ruffalo actually spoiling things a little bit himself, possibly not for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but not for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but it could be a spoiler as well for Avengers Secret Wars. And yes, we are talking about the symbiote. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today.
The symbiote.
You know, if you've been following the channel, I believe Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. This photo right here further supports that, and so do some new reports that we're going to go over.
I'm looking at the X-Men colors here. I'm looking at the jacket. I'm looking at the hair. She's looking very Jean Greyish. Anybody that could come in, you know what I'm saying? If you're here right now, if you come and take a look, she's looking very Jean Greyish. And if this is the way that they're going with the X-Men and they're going with a whole new younger cast, there's so much new blood out there that they can go get to play these new X-Men. I want to see who they got playing your boy right here. I got him on my shirt, Cyclops. I want to see who they're going to get to play your boy, because, you know, they never really gave James Marsden his just due in the original Fox X-Men. He was trash in X-Men 2, and then Phoenix killed him on X-Men 3. Yeah, I get it, you know, trash. But yeah. She looks very Jean Greyish. Look at this picture, y'all. Look at this picture. The colors and everything is matching up.
Over that, talk about this photo and her character as well. As you can see right here, this photo is of Sadie Sink's character with John Bernthal's The Punisher. Now, the Punisher is the Punisher. He looks great. But Sadie Sink is wearing dark green and yellow, the colors of Marvel Girl, aka Jean Grey. I love this. This is totally just hints at Marvel Girl, how she originally was in Marvel Comics. We've also been told recently that the new X-Men franchise is going to start with First Class. So Jean Grey, Marvel Girl, will be a part of that team. And obviously, Sadie Sink is now in the MCU.
Okay. Of course, there's a standing question out there, and I literally just had to explain it to somebody literally a few minutes ago before I came live. So, if Sadie Sink is supposed to be Jean Grey, that would bear the question: where have the mutants, where have the X-Men been hiding this entire time? Where the hell were y'all when Thanos attacked? Where were the mutants or whatever? Honestly, we're probably going to get some more answers in these new shots of Avengers Doomsday. I honestly think that the theory that Tony snapping, Hulk snapping, Thanos snapping, it awoke all the X genes within the 616 timeline on Earth. It awoke in those genes in everybody. It was too many snaps, too many differences in cosmic power, too much cosmic power out of that. Not only that, but he who remains is no longer watching the timeline. Things have shifted. Doctor Strange has messed with time. The Avengers themselves have messed with time. Loki's messed with time. You know what I'm saying? The X-Men in their universe, they have messed with time. Spider-Man, with those 3 Spider-Men showing up, that's messing with time. There's so many rifts and shifts in the multiverse now. Now we're gonna see different things that weren't originally part of the timeline start popping up on the sacred timeline. So salute to the X-Men / the mutants finally making their debut. I'm with Cosmic Wonder on this. I don't care what y'all say. This is Jean Grey. Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. She signed off for multiple movies, and she's not going to be in Doomsday, but she will be in Secret Wars. Come on now.
I'm saying as Jean Grey, and you'll see that a lot of other insiders say this as well as we get into this video. But before people start talking about this photo and say that it's AI, this is what Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus had to say, and he has been right about a lot recently. So here's what he had to say. First of all, he laughed. Ha 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 ha. Now y'all see why I said she's Typhoid Mary. Wait for it. And before anyone says, but the Gemini logo, the picture is real. So I didn't even notice there is a Gemini logo down to the bottom right. The Gemini logo is there, but the picture is real. What you're seeing here is the picture that was re-enhanced using Gemini and has clearly been passed around and lost resolution with each pass. So Alex is basically saying, I have seen this picture before. It's being passed around, and now it has the Gemini logo on it because people are trying to enhance the quality of it. It's obviously a leak, so it wasn't the best quality. So people have been throwing it around, and it's the quality is decreased, but they have used Gemini to enhance it. But Alex is saying it's real. This is a real photo of her with the Punisher. And honestly, like it doesn't reveal too much. The colors do, right?
Shout out to Alex Perez. Alex Perez has been one person that we've been watching ever since this whole fandom thing. Honestly, these pages like Cosmic Wonder and Comic Book Cast 2 and Nerd Riot and Heavy Spoilers and New Rock Stars, all these channels started popping up when everybody started coming up with all these Avengers, Endgame, and Infinity War theories, and they've thrived ever since then. He's one of the main channels that I watch right here. It's good to see how theories later down the road end up coming to fruition. It's good to see that. It's really good to see that.
I mean, it's the colors Marvel Girl, green and yellow, and she's got the hair, right? I mean, it just makes sense. But then somebody asked, because he didn't specifically say that she is Jean Grey in that response, but somebody asked, so you're still saying she is not Jean Grey? In which Alex replied, nah, she's Jean. I was wrong in my initial assessment. So there you go, right there. Alex Perez, who's been right about a lot recently, is saying she's Jean Grey. Sadie Sink's character is Jean Grey. I'm super happy about that, but if you don't want to take one person's word for it, let's
question for y'all out there that's watching right now. Do we like fan boy channels? Do we love spoilers and theories? Or would we rather be surprised when walking into the movie theater? I like spoilers and theories, and I'll still go into the movie theater and watch it. Won't make me never mind.
Let's go to literally 3 other insiders who were talking about this as well. The first one is Jeff Snyder. Now, Jeff actually was the first person to report that the Hulk and the Punisher were going to be in this movie.
I'm good, my brother. Salute, salute, salute. Dom's gas station in the building, y'all. Salute, my brother. I'm doing great, fam. You know what I'm saying? Just rolling up a little of this stankonia, you feel me? And today's strain of the day, y'all, is Frosty Gas Man from JK Distro, as a matter of fact. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all a quick little snippet of what I'm talking about here. The Frosty Gas Man. Where is it? Oh, well, I can't even show y'all because I rolled up the last bud. Sorry if I got, but yeah. Frosty Gas Man. As y'all can see, I had the pack right here. Hold on. Put the pack right there, man. The Frosty Gas Man. Y'all checking out those numbers. Y'all see what it do on that, man. Salute to JK, man. I need some other vendors if you're out there and you get your tree offline like I do because you're a bougie some of them a bitch. Tell me some other vendors that I could rock with, man, that'll really do me good on prices and on quality tree. But yeah. Hold on, my bro Dom said straight fire. Straight fire got good prices and they got some thaya. Okay, I'm gonna have to check out Straight Fire. You're not the first person who suggested Straight Fire as like a real talk go to. You know what I'm saying? But moving right along, back to Jean Grey, possibly being played by Sadie Sink here. Y'all keep y'all lighters up, man. Keep smoking. Hold on.
Movie, and he is the first person who actually said that he has heard Sadie Sink could be playing Jean Grey in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Lately, he reaffirmed that it's true. He said it's in fact true. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Then you have Cryptic HD Quality, and they have actually doubled down on stage.
Of course, hit me on IG, my boy. You know what it is.
Stating that Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. He has said multiple times that Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. And then, of course, we have James Mack, who has also been proven right by a lot of X-Men leaks as far as the new X-Men team is concerned, and as far as the X-Men leaks for Avengers Doomsday are concerned as well. He's been proven right already with a lot of those leaks. He has also stated that she is playing Jean Grey. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Marvel Studios were ending one chapter of the MCU and going into another one in Avengers Secret Wars. And Sadie Sink.
But it's a little confusing for the regular consumer who hasn't been here since 2008. Since the first Iron Man movie, it might be a little confusing to the regular consumer as to why mutants are just now showing up and why does Jean Grey, if this is in fact who Sadie Sink is playing, why does Jean Grey look so young? You might have a little bit of trouble, explaining that if there's no good story writing. So again, Marvel, Disney, y'all got to get yourself together. Y'all got to get y'all shit together. Got to.
Is going to be in Avengers Secret Wars. That is already confirmed. So to have somebody kind of be in the previous MCU as we go into the new MCU, this part right now that we're in will be the previous MCU, but go over into the new part, it makes sense because she's going to be the face of the MCU. Jean Grey is going to be
trash. We love Sadie Sink. But let's cut this woke bullshit. What do you mean she's going to be the face? He's right here, ladies and gentlemen. He's right here. Cyclops. Why not make him the face of the MCU when they reboot everything? Since we're moving right into the mutant saga, make the whole mutant saga about him and his family. That's how we get Mr. Sinister. That's how we get Apocalypse. And AKA, we might even be able to get Kang the Conqueror back at the big bad. You know what I'm saying? So, why are we doing this?
Well, I would say one of the faces of the MCU, because we're obviously going to have the Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah.
Some type of an Avengers team. It doesn't necessarily mean we'll have a movie right away, because we heard they aren't going to do that. But we are going to have some Avengers people in there, right? Of course, whether they're new or old characters, who knows? Probably a mix of both. But to have.
And I hope since the MCU will be fully integrated this time, you know how in the comic books you have members from other teams join the Avengers? Wolverine was an Avenger for a while, but you know, he's also been a part of X-Force. He's also an X-Man. You know what I'm saying? He was also a part of what is Weapon X, you know, things of that nature. So maybe we'll get a whole lot of crossovers now that all of these different franchises and different sets of groups will be crossed over. Now we can get some of these teams mixing. I fuck with that.
Have one character kind of be, or a handful of characters kind of be the main faces, and coming from the old universe to the new universe makes sense. Peter Parker is also going to be one of those people, so it makes sense that them two are together.
Who wants to bet me that we might run into a Miles Morales in Secret Wars? Since they talking about it, right?
Those two are together, and they'll reportedly come back in Secret Wars together. I still think we might get something of Tom Holland in Avengers Doomsday, but it might be a post-credit scene.
It's definitely going to be a post-credit scene since they said he will not be the featured Spider-Man in Doomsday. It's going to be the GOAT, Tobey Maguire. He's going to be the featured Spider-Man in Avengers Doomsday. We will not see Tom Holland to a post-credit scene because, again, reports are saying that the post-credit scene of Brand New Day is leading directly into Doomsday, which is why we don't see Spider-Man, Tom Holland, or the Hulk in that movie because they'll be off doing their own thing. And we don't get Sadie Sink as whatever character she's playing, probably Jean Grey, until Secret Wars.
Not entirely sure on that yet, but we have this leaked photo right here that is reportedly real. I love to see it because I love to see the colors, and this is kind of cool. Sadie Sink as Jean Grey with the Punisher. I like it. And it does make sense. The whole DODC storyline basically being the people who hunt mutants and Frank not being okay with that and trying to protect Jean Grey. That makes sense. And this should be a Jean Grey whose powers aren't really fully established yet. So people would wonder, well, how, why can't she just get away herself? She's supposed to be an incredibly strong mutant, right? One of the strongest. Well, it's a young Jean Grey who hasn't ran into Professor Xavier yet. Her powers aren't.
Now, I'm glad he brought old Chuck up, Charles Xavier. If this is in fact Jean Grey and she exists on the 616 timeline, Charles Xavier and Eric Lyncher, aka Professor X, and Magneto are older mutants. Selene, who's like, she's like a vampire / she's a mutant too. These are some of the oldest mutants that have existed. Apocalypse, these are old mutants. Mr. Sinister, old mutants that have existed. How have they just been slid in the shadows and Shield didn't know anything about them? The Eternals didn't mention mutants. Like nobody knows anything about them. It's gonna be interesting to see how they write all this shit.
Honed in, right? So she's not going to be as strong as a lot of people think she should be. But if you consider everything she's gone through, which we don't know a ton about, but we know she hasn't gone to the school yet, Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, we know that her powers should not be in full control yet, which could be dangerous for a lot of people around her. But it also means that she isn't, built up her powers in a way that she could just handle everything herself. So she needs the Punisher and she needs Spider-Man. But it sounds like she's still going to be a pretty good foe to, I would say, to Spider-Man at some points in time.
This will also be our third mutant that we officially have in the MCU, which you have Namor claiming he was the first mutant because he was born so long ago, even though I'm guessing now we're going to get an apocalypse and all of that. So we don't know where these guys are hiding. Again, we don't know where these guys are hiding. You understand what I'm saying? These older mutants. But Namor was supposed to be the first. They actually used the word mutant in Wakanda Forever. He said he was a mutant. Kamala Khan got the she got the little theme song when her homeboy said there's a mutation in your DNA. So she's a mutant. And now we're gonna have Jean Grey. How many more mutants are we gonna see pop up between now and Secret Wars? Are Wanda and her brother Quicksilver going to get finally retconned the right way, and we're going to find out that they were mutants all along, which is why the what was it, the time stone, not the time stone, the mind stone took hold of them and turned them into what it turned them into, because they already had latent mutant abilities anyway. It's going to be interesting to see how they write all this.
Good foe to, I would say, to Spider-Man at some points in time. And it's rumored, I should say, that she might even let the Hulk go berserk. And speaking of that, Mark Ruffalo was recently on a panel where people were filming him, and he knows that people were filming him, and he knows exactly what he said. He said that he can promise you 1000% that he will be fighting an alien. Now, he is referring to the Hulk himself as the Hulk. So he says that he can promise you 1000% that the Hulk is going to fight an alien. What?
Did he just snitch, bitch? Are we gonna get in this movie? Spider-Man's actually gonna get the black suit, the symbiote, and technically it will be Venom versus the Hulk. Are we gonna get Venom versus the Hulk this summer? Are y'all ready for that? Tom Holland as Venom fighting Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I'm ready for it. That's even more, even with that just being speculation, that's even more of a reason to have asses in seats. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, what's an alien? Well, Venom's an alien. The Venom symbiote is an alien. So this could tell us that Peter Parker does get the symbiote in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I think regardless of what happens in Brand New Day, I do think, since it seems like he's talking about the future, Spidey gets the Venom symbiote in Secret Wars no matter what. That is when he first gets the symbiote in the comics, in the original Secret Wars. So that makes sense that they would want to bring.
By the way, the symbiote that he's going to get, remember at the end, I'm here to remind everybody, when they had Spider-Man No Way Home and the two other Spider-Mans came over to 616. They also brought Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom, over to 616. A piece of him, we found out in a post-credit scene, a piece of that Venom from that universe was left in the 616 timeline. So that's a different Venom in a different universe that's going to attach to our Spider-Man. And if you've seen the way that people in different universes act, in universes they're not supposed to be in, if you watch the cartoon Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and all of that, you know, their bodies glitch out and all of that, and it tends to disrupt that other universe by having somebody from another universe that's not supposed to be there. It causes an incursion. Yeah. This is going to be interesting.
That to the MCU, the first time this Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, would get the Venom symbiote would be in Secret Wars, because it's going to be, according to Kevin Feige, the biggest movie they've ever made. It's the most ambitious movie they've ever made, they say. So there's a lot of hype for Avengers Doomsday right now. Secret Wars should be bigger. We'll wait and see, but that's the plan so far. So the Hulk says he promises you Hulk's going to fight an alien. And I think of Andrew Garfield when he says, I want to fight an alien, right after Tobey Maguire was talking about fighting Venom. Tom Holland was talking about fighting Thanos. He has not fought Venom. The Hulk hasn't fought him. Of course not, because he's not been in the MCU yet. But there is that one scene in Spider-Man Brand New Day's trailer where he's coming out of the cocoon. Peter's coming out of the cocoon, and his arm is completely black. At first, I thought it could be shading, but his other arm—
Hold on. This is the first time I'm looking at this, right? His arm over here. Do y'all see how it kind of looks like symbiotic slimy right here in this little area I'm pointing to? I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I was like, man, that's just a shadow. Y'all go ahead now, man. But that definitely does look symbiotic slimy-ish over there. Look at his hand. That's my first time seeing that.
Is fine. So why would his arm be completely black, especially since we've heard the recent rumors are he's not turning into Man-Spider? Originally, according to Alex Perez, Marvel was toying with this idea and did like it, but then—
hold on, we might actually get him playing Venom Spider-Man in this third movie, or in this fourth movie, excuse me. Not only that, but every scene that we've seen of him in the trailer, it might have been him in the black suit and they just switched it up so that we wouldn't know. Are we about to get Venom Tom Holland this summer, y'all?
Sony and Marvel ultimately decided that it would probably be too much for the little kids that are going to see Spider-Man, because everybody loves Spider-Man. Little kids, you know, they watch Spidey and Friends and stuff like that. So they didn't—
oh, it'd be too much for the kids, huh? Look, kids. Look. Man, fuck them kids. Give us what we want, man.
Want to freak kids out too much. So apparently they went away from that. I'm not saying the full Venom symbiote is going to come out in Spider-Man Brand New Day, but
The little kids is gonna be scared. The little kids is gonna be scared. Fuck them kids, man. Tired of that shit. Give us what we want. We've been watching this universe since 2008. Fuck them kids. Give us the scariest, comic book accurate, gory motherfucking Venom you can get. Fuck them kids, man. It's gonna scare the kids. Fuck them kids, man. Shit.
I think some big signs that Peter has the symbiotes might be there because his arm is going to turn black, literally, and his eyes change. There's a lot that's happening, and there's a lot that it could be, but regardless, I think the symbiote is there, and I think ultimately it leads to Peter Parker with the Venom symbiote fighting the Hulk, which I am totally here for. I think that would actually be super, super cool. And if you think about it, the Venom symbiote, when it bonds with the host, it does change its DNA. And that's what Bruce Banner.
And this might be why we don't see the Hulk and Spider-Man until Secret Wars. When he pop up again, he gonna have a brand new suit, and everybody gonna be looking at him like, yo, what the hell going on?
Talks about is a very dangerous thing in the trailer. So I think it all lines up, and it looks like it's all lining up for the Hulk to fight Venom, which I am totally here for. And it does seem like Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, which.
How are y'all feeling about that one? Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. She will be Marvel Girl, aka the Phoenix. Are we going to get another Phoenix run again? Please do not give that to us too fast. We just had one. Didn't like that. Don't want that. Let's see. Are we going to see the Venom symbiote in Spider-Man Brand New Day? Will Tom Holland Spider-Man actually get the symbiote? That's a lot to think about, man. But y'all leave it in the comments and tell me how y'all feel about that one. Salute the Cosmic Wonder. All right, now on to the next one. We got Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Doom, possibly. Remember, I've been telling y'all that he's getting too much money for him to just play Doom. He might play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Dooms, a few Iron Mans, and just a regular nigga named Tony. We don't know. But for all the money that they paying him, he might come back as the damn Beyonder. We don't know. 120 million, man. Yeah, come on now. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Doom. Let's check this out, man. Let's check this out. This is by way of the boy War Stew. Check it out. War Stew. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the boy War Stew. I love all his work too. He's just mad British or Australian or whatever the hell he is. Don't forget to give that brother a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's check it out.
Footage, draw a pin online every single day since CinemaCon, which it hasn't yet. Supposed to be April the 26th because that's the anniversary of Avengers Endgame. We've had some interesting so-called scoops come up, which kind of don't make any sense, and they sound so ambiguous. Even for these fake scoopers, they sound very ambiguous. So,
hold on. My time to shit hello, because this person used to be very, very credible at one point on Twitter, but then now they are hitting the miss, and honestly, it's a whole lot more misses than hits, but they still got a voice. My time to shine hello says Robert Downey Jr. will keep playing Dr. Doom after Secret Wars, and not only that, but he will also return as Tony Stark. How, Slay? How?
It's good YouTube voice if you are new around here. What the frickin' hell are you doing? Make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Multiverse, pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. Good. Subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on down below. And do you think what like so rage baity? And it just sounds made up. So if you could check us out on Instagram at Wooshgy to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And if you could check us out on TikTok, Wooshgy Right,
Sure
Jackman's
was, dude.
death in a Victor Von Boom, right? We get when we got the news of Robert Downey Jr. playing a Victor Von Boom, right? We get that, right? So they're not going to undo the death. And you could put in the same debate, Hugh Jackman's death in
They're speaking like they're not going to undo the death of the original Tony Stark that we know.
Logan that's set in the future. Did they ruin that death by bringing Logan back to appear in Deadpool and Wolverine, and most likely in Avengers Doomsday, and most likely in Secret Wars? But that's kind of a completely different scenario because Logan's death happened in the future. It didn't really happen concurrently in the current day of this timeline. So, my time to shine. Hello, the lad had this to say. And it's really hard because this account, it doesn't seem like they speak or they write in a comprehensive way, because it's almost like you have to decipher if this account is making stuff up, if this account is trolling, or do they actually believe what they're saying? Robert,
It's Twitter. They do a lot of trolling, but we love good theories. Let's hear it.
Downey Jr. will keep playing Doctor Doom after Secret Wars, and not only that, but he's also going to return as Tony Stark. Okay, so one thing I've seen when people talk about this is
See the language, and not only that, but he will also return. So he can't play two characters in the same. Like, yeah, see, this is what I be meaning about my time to shine. Hello, bro.
you're not talking about how much money RDJ is getting paid. So would Robert Downey Jr. really return for less money than he's getting paid for Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars? He's literally got his own island, his own security team, private jet. He's got a whole camp when they're filming. Literally has people looking after him 24/7. Okay.
Okay.
So when this was announced at San Diego Comic-Con, people thought, "Oh my god, this is the savior of the MCU." You can't. This it's kind of tells us that we can't have an MCU without Tony Stark, without RDJ, really. But we can.
That's sad. That's sad to think that we can't go on as fans without Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is an older man now. He can't play Iron Man forever. They're gonna have to recast at some point, right? They're gonna have to recast.
Because certain movies have proved this. Not every movie needs to make $1 billion. Like Multiverse of Madness did close to $1 billion. Wakanda Forever did close to $1 billion. No Way Home did over $1 billion. Deadpool Wolverine did over $1 billion. Yeah, sure, there's been a lot of flops in between that. For instance, Thunderbolts, but Thunderbolts was a brand new IP. So,
hey, don't get too mad at the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts was actually all right, man. I don't know how. Yeah, don't talk about the Thunderbolts, man. That was actually an all right movie to me. You know, it was cool.
You can't really say that one. Captain America: Brave New World. I mean, you could kind of say that's flop because obviously Sam Wilson was around for a long time. So we know in the next phase that apparently it's gonna be the mutant phase because
I wanted to like Captain America: Brand New Day. I really did. I really wanted to like it, and it's like it wasn't that bad, but he should have took the serum. He should have took the serum. Don says they did it to the Hulk, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman. Like, come on, bro. It's time to let it go. You gave us some good movies. I mean, you know, this is the reason why they're having a whole soft reboot type situation. You know, you pick new characters, you pick new actors to be able to, you know what I'm saying, carry on the mantle. Who do I see playing Iron Man? Because it's not only playing with Iron Man, playing Iron Man is the same as playing being able to just being able to play Bruce Wayne versus being able to play Bruce Wayne and Batman, because pretty much Tony Stark and Iron Man are the same thing. Who do I see that's snarky? Goddamn. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I might even get back to you on that before this is over with. Who do I see playing Iron Man? That's a question out there for y'all, man. Salute the Dom's gas station. Who do y'all see playing the new Iron Man after this soft reboot of the new universe of the MCU 616 timeline?
Sadie Sink is playing Genus Grey, and they're setting up the mutants inside Spider-Man Brand New Day. And it does look that way because the damage control are hunted mutants. It really does look that way. And we've known for the longest time ever that allegedly the MCU reboot's overall villain will be careful for.
Hold on. As of April 2026, because he might not read this to y'all, so I will. As of April 2026, Mr. Sinister is strongly rumored and reported to be the primary antagonist for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, X-Men Rebirth. While Marvel Studios has not officially confirmed the villain, industry reports indicate that the current script draft features Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, as the central threat. This choice aligns with Marvel's reported desire to showcase iconic villains that were never fully realized in the previous 20th century franchise. 20th Century Fox franchise. Yeah, so the entire time when we was kids and we were watching that X-Men series, and they had all those spin-off movies and spin-off TV shows and universes that were kind of supposed to be in the same timeline as the original movies that had Wolverine as Hugh Jackman. So what do we get? We got the New Mutants. What else did we get? We got that show. What was that show? It was on Fox. I'm gonna have to look that up. They had a show on Fox about mutants, and like all the X-Men were dead, and these were the new mutants that were carrying on the mutant fight. But it was supposed to have taken place in the same universe as the original X-Men movie we were watching, and Magneto's daughter was in the show. It was fire, man. But yeah, this is supposed to coincide with all of that. I say all that to say this. Mr. Sinister has been hinted at the entire time in that universe, but was never fully realized. Even in the Logan movie, which was where we saw Wolverine die, we find out that those kids that were taken in that movie were taken by the Essex Corporation, meaning Mr. Sinister is the head of all that. And if you know, you know, he experiments on mutants to, you know what I'm saying, bring out their mutant powers, or to just experiment for his own crazy scientific madman pleasure.
Spoiler, although it's probably not true. Mr. Sinister. Have you ever played the PS3 game or PS4 game? I think it was. Mr. Sinister was in the Deadpool game. Such a cool character. Really hope this rumor's true about Mr. Sinister.
He's also, as you can see here at the bottom, he's also obsessed with the Summers Gray bloodline. He's obsessed with all the babies that Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, and Jean Grey make together. He believes those are like prime mutants that can like change the future because they'll be so powerful. So he's always manipulating something when it comes to Cyclops, and especially Jean Grey. This is how we go into a timeline or a situation where we get Cable and all of that, you know?
So, do I believe RDJ is going to be playing Doom and Tony Stark forever? Because I know there's a joke that Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, is going to be playing that character forever. But Tony Stark, RDJ, Doctor Doom. Okay. I mean, it's not an ageist thing here, but Tony Stark RDJ is getting on a bit, right? I think he could possibly play this role for another 5-6 years if he chooses to, right? So he's in his 60s, right? Let's not beat around the bush. He's in his 60s. Yeah, I guess
RDJ is in his 60s, and they talking about he might be playing Doctor Doom after Secret Wars. That means you immediately need to get into another Fantastic Four movie where he's the damn villain for him to get the proper usage. You're going to have to come up with some scheme to where you have to use Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom again, even after being defeated after Secret Wars. Hold on, man.
You're going to argue that, you know, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen playing Magneto and obviously Professor X. I get it. So we know that Doctor Doom isn't going to be the overall big bad of the next saga. So if that's not the case, it's going to be Mr. Sinister. Then why are we going to have Tony Stark and Doctor Doom being played by RDJ post Avengers Secret Wars? Yes, we know that apparently the Russo brothers will be involved with this so-called X-Men mutant phase going forward, but it just proves a point that you can't really have the MCU with legacy characters. Take, for instance, we have Chris Evans, who's carrying the movies to the point where they're re-releasing Endgame with different scenes. Now, we get it. When he went back in time, he was told, yo, don't do anything stupid. And we were supposed to get this Nomad Disney Plus series where it was going to go, Return the Stones, and
it was about to be a Nomad series where we would have saw Chris Evans as Captain America returning all the stones, leading him to rolling out into the sunset to go be with Peggy and living out in that timeline. A timeline that we're going to find out led to horrible, horrible results because he wasn't supposed to be there. Everything happened for a reason. That's one thing I do know about, whether it's fictional or whatever, messing with time. Everything happens for a reason. When you mess with time, it definitely does tend to mess back.
we were going to see whatever he did. Obviously, we know he went to live with Peggy, and obviously Loki came along and pushed him into the Fantastic Four universe. And we know that's going to be some variation of the changes we see to them re-releasing it. So it's already at the point where you realistically don't need to watch any movies ever released since Endgame, because they're re-releasing Endgame. So it's almost like, yo, we can't actually have a comprehensive storyline where people care about a movie unless legacy characters are there. Obviously, we've got the likes of Chris Hemsworth's Thor, who can stick around for many, many years. But let's be honest, we've got some characters.
Okay, Dom, if you're still there, I do have a character. I do have somebody who I think could play Tony Stark, the new Tony Stark. If you remember Captain America, the first Avenger, right? Where you see Captain America's origin, yada, yada, yada. The dude who played as the young version of his father, my man right here, that could be the new Tony Stark right there. Right there. We could start the timeline and where there might be an older Tony who's still playing Iron Man. This dude right now, he's 47 years old. I don't see why he can't do 10 years as Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? He make little cameos and all of that. He doesn't exactly have to have another Iron Man movie. He could just make cameos and get in the suit. That's who I could see playing the new Tony Stark. The dude who played as the younger version of Tony Stark's father. Yeah, there's your answer, motherfucker.
Just people don't care for, like Shang-Chi, like Letitia Wright, Shuri. And how do I know this? Well, because apparently the shills that weren't paid for CinemaCon, apparently the hype is a bit over the top, because apparently 50% of this footage, people were like, meh, it's only when Thor was fighting Doom and stuff like that where people actually cared. So
I need to see this trailer. I really need to see this trailer. They're saying Doom caught Thor's axe with 2 fingers. And he had Thor's axe in the air along with Thor, and he was holding with 2 fingers. Like, bruh, stop playing with me. Yeah, I need to see that. I don't believe it's real. I need to see that.
It's very interesting because when you read the description of the trailer, yeah, parts of it sound cool, but also parts of it sound quite generic and lame. So if this information is true, I fully believe it's fake and made up, because the lad my time, I mean, like I say, their tweets are pretty hard to figure out what the freaking hell that lad's saying. But we're still going to cover content like this, because why not? If everyone else is covering this kind of stuff on the Twitter sphere, on TikToks or everywhere else, why can't we jump in on the discussion? But it's the fact that this account believes it's true. Proposed community note is so stupid. Of course, there's no confirmation. It's a scoop. So this account, the lad's trying to make out, Michael is trying to make out this is real. I mean, I can't understand in what.
Oh, bruh said, bet. I researched and I seen a couple of young actors. Let me hear some. Let me hear some. And we'll put it up on the Jumbotron. Let me hear something. Give me one and I'll put it up on the Jumbotron, especially if they've been in something that I've either seen or heard of.
World would you want both Doom and both Tony Stark back when we're supposed to be, building this new MCU rebooted 2.0? Hopefully not on James Gunn's, cook DCU level, but we have essentially a really good chance to build up the New Mutants, the X-Men, with the likes of, if Jean Grey is being played by Sadie Sink, with the New Mutants and going from there. I mean, we've still got other characters, like obviously Anthony Mackie's Captain America, etc.
Darren Barnett. Let me see this. Darren Barnett. Let me see what Darren Barnett has been in. Hold on, my boy. Darren Barnett. Okay, he's younger. I can see it. I can see it. What has he been in? Movies and shows. What has he been in? He's been in Never Have I Ever, Love Hard. He's been in one of them old school American Pies that went straight to video. He's been in Anyone But You. He was in the Gran Turismo movie. Okay. He was in the Roadhouse movie, and he was in one of the Jurassic Parks. Let's put up an image. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay. He does give Tony Stark vibes. He does. He definitely does. Salute to that. If we wanted to go to a younger actor, he's only 34. He got some years left in him, and they could possibly give him a whole nother Iron Man trilogy. Well, we could see him fight the real Mandarin for real this time.
Sure. If they make it past Secret Wars, who can carry the brand? We've still got Tom Holland's Spider-Man for at least another 2 movies. So there is so much potential, but I really, really think if this is true and RDJ sticking around, Marvel can't afford him for one.
That's a
it'll just
fact.
be a cameo-centric role, like he'll be behind things, behind the closed doors. But like I've said, if Mr. Sinister's the overall villain, it literally makes no sense for him to stick around in any capacity. I'm not a Robert Downey Jr. hater, but it's pointless. And also, if he is sticking around post Secret Wars, then what is the freaking point? Because we all know we're getting an Iron Man Doctor Doom fight, and that could potentially even happen in Doomsday or be teased up in Doomsday. So it literally takes away from both these movies if we know he's sticking around. And this isn't really a new rumor. It's been floating around for a while. Let's be honest, lad. But it just sounds pretty lame to me. And yes, I can criticize something and still like something. It's like, yo, James Gunn DCU bots think I don't like DC because I criticize DC. Yeah, because I don't like the way DC's going. It literally is boring me. I have more Batman comics than most of these James Gunn bots. I know more about I've read more DC comics than most of these bots, right? Just because I don't talk about DC at the moment. It's because there's nothing.
He's actually not lying about what he's saying. James Gunn is destroying the DC universe, bro. Peacemaker season 2 was buns. It was buns. And then with the way that it ended, they said that there's not going to be a season 3. So I can see why my man right here is so angry about the DC universe. You know, Batman is my overall favorite superhero or whatever. So I can see why.
Talk about, let's be honest. So yes, if you like something, you can criticize it, although the internet seems to think very differently. So let me know, lads, what do you think about this crazy, wild rumor? I mean, Doom catching Thor's hammer like it's nothing, and Steve having to get involved. That is freaking nuts. So likewise, lads, check us out on Instagram at WarStew.
Salute the War Stew, man. Salute the War Stew. How we feeling about that one? Robert Downey Jr. coming back and playing several characters in Secret Wars and possibly in Doomsday. And even possibly coming back after Secret Wars as Dr. Doom. I agree with him. Disney and Marvel cannot afford him. They would have to build him back up as an evil villain in the background doing something again. And he would be making cameos. They can't afford to give him a special or nothing. Robert Downey Jr. told them bitches 120,000. What is it? 120 million. Or is it 150 million? Yeah, 150 million. I'm not coming back as Dr. Doom unless it's 150 million. You're gonna give me that. I was just in the Oscar run. Or did he get an Oscar for? He got an Oscar for Oppenheimer. I want to say, didn't he? Yeah. I just want an Oscar, man. Y'all about to give me mine. Stop playing. 150 million. I'll come back. I'll be Victor Von Doom. I'll be Tony Stark. I'll be Tony. What old man Stan Lee called him Tony Stank in that one movie. I'll be Tony Stank for 150 million. I'll come back as Tony Stank. What are you talking about? But y'all tell me, man, how y'all feeling about that one. On to the next one. Speaking of Avengers Doomsday, they are re-releasing, y'all, in September. They're re-releasing Avengers Endgame because they're saying Doomsday is a direct sequel to this movie. They're adding in new deleted scenes, and there will be a post-credit scene or two for Avengers Endgame, possibly building up Doctor Doom and, you know what I'm saying, taking care of a few plot holes. Are you going back to the theater to see such and such? I will be there. I will be there. I love Avengers Endgame. I really love Avengers Infinity War. And now that they're adding deleted scenes and maybe a post-credit scene or two leading into Doomsday and giving more of a build up to Doctor Doom, I would love that. I would love that because we have no build up to Doctor Doom. We have build up to Kang the Conqueror. We have no build up to Doctor Doom. So it's going to be nice to see how they do all of this. But hold on, there's a bridge to that that's been explained, and we're going to check it out. This is by way of Screen Crush. They got a theory. They got a theory on how they think everything's going to end. And I love theories. Let's check it out with Screen Crush. Don't forget to give them a like, comment, and subscribe when you can. And let's check it out. Keep smoking, y'all.
Directly set up Avengers Doomsday and maybe Secret Wars. So we're going to talk about all the possibilities of scenes they could add in. Some are fun, some are ridiculous, but I think we're going to land on what I think is the most likely option. So here's the exact quote from Joe Russo. It's critically important to re-release the movie with footage that is set in the Doomsday story. It's an opportunity to create a bridge from Endgame to Doomsday in a very unique way. We have an opportunity to re-release it. It's a really unique opportunity. Now, before we get into what these new scenes could be, I feel like we have to talk about why all of this is even necessary. I mean, in theory, the last 7 years of movies and TV shows should have been the ones creating the bridge between Endgame and Doomsday, but unfortunately, this is not the case. The Infinity Saga consisted of 23 films and a few loosely affiliated TV series. During that saga, over the course of 11 years, the films were released at a slow pace, gradually tying in greater connections to the overall story. And this got fans slowly interested in this arc with the Infinity Stones and the relationship between Steve and Tony, and the slow buildup of Thanos as the series' big bad. He made cameos in 3 films before finally breaking our hearts in Infinity War. Now, the Multiverse Saga, on the other hand, has released 14 films so far, plus 15 TV series for more than 100 hours of stories. In the Infinity Saga, instead, characters were given their own standalone trilogies that gradually built on their stories. But in the Multiverse Saga, no character has received a sequel film, unless you count Spider-Man, although we have had multiple seasons of TV shows, 2 crossover films, and a movie that was a sequel to a TV show. And as a result, the overall arc of the Multiverse Saga can be summed up like this. The multiverse exists. It is frail, and there are multiple ways for the universes to end. Now, here and there, we have gotten hints at a wider narrative, like Reed explaining incursions or the introduction of the multiverse in the show Loki. But most of this setup was building up the Council of Kangs as the villain for Avengers Kang Dynasty. But then, Kang was jettisoned with the firing of Jonathan Majors, so now the Russo brothers have to quickly set up Doctor Doom as the main villain of this saga, and they have to do that by creating a bridge between Endgame and Avengers Doomsday. So it makes perfect sense that they would be tweaking this movie and adding scenes. I'm actually really pumped to see what they can add in to set up Avengers Doomsday. Now, I love talking about Marvel.
This is what I'm saying. When you go back and you start messing with things that were already good, sometimes you could end up messing, you know what I'm saying? Messing up what we already love, pulling more people away from it. They got to do the right thing.
Because I have been reading Marvel comics my whole life because I've always been drawn to the complexity of these characters. And because I love the Marvel roster so much, it is a blast to play Marvel Strike Force. They're the sponsor of this video. So with Marvel Strike Force, I get to recruit, upgrade.
Hold up. I do love this game, but I don't get paid for this. Hold on. I do fuck with that game, though. It's a mobile game.
Context for what they could add in. Technically, the Multiverse Saga began halfway through Avengers Endgame. So around 80 minutes into Avengers Endgame, Loki steals the Tesseract. Then, as we saw in the show Loki, he is arrested by the TVA and taken to their headquarters. When he's removed, in that split second, all of the events of the show Loki occur. And in that series, he learns that all of time is being controlled by one man. Loki decides to take control of the time stream, but he operates it in a way that allows for free will, and he creates the multiversal tree filled with with an infinite amount of branching universes. So everything we have seen in the multiverse saga and in the second half of Avengers Endgame occurs after Loki creates the tree. That means that while the Avengers were traveling through time and while Steve Rogers was returning the stones, there was this huge, ever-expanding multiverse growing around them. So the events of Endgame could have been observed by characters from other universes, characters like Doctor Doom. Now, bearing that in mind, there are two possibilities for the new footage in this movie. One is they add in deleted scenes they've already shot, and two, they film completely new scenes that could actually feature Doctor Doom. So let's start with the footage that they've already shot.
If they do both, they about to get our Marvel about to triple up and get our money all year. We already watching Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus right now. Then they're gonna give it about a week after Daredevil Born Again goes off, and they're gonna give us the Punisher One Last Kill special, which is a bridge into the Spider-Man movie that comes out this month. That comes out this summer. Spider-Man leads directly into Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, they trying to get all the money, man. And I think somewhere in here, before we get to Doomsday, X-Men 97 season 2 will be out, and also the next season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That'll also be on season 2 as well. Marvel trying to get all the money, and then Endgame comes out in September. That's another one in the summer with new scenes. If they shoot new scenes, add in stuff that they already shot, plus new scenes with Doctor Doom in it, they bringing everybody back to the theater all these different times. That's all the money.
Already released numerous Endgame deleted scenes. Most of these are extended sequences like the heroes kneeling for Tony Stark or Rocket making fun of the Avengers.
The Chitauri, the suckiest army in the galaxy. Why didn't you just blow up the mothership?
We didn't know that was a thing.
You didn't know that was a thing!
There are also entire sequences that were discarded, like Natasha having to fight through Thanos' army to leap over the cliff in Vormir, or Tony's soul after the snap. So first, let's talk about the deleted scenes that they could add back in. Now, obviously, the Russo brothers could always add in some of the jokey scenes for fun, like Rhodey making fun of Steve for crashing his ship in First Avenger.
Why did you have to crash the plane anyway? Bombs on board. Bombs on board. You couldn't have jumped out of the plane before you crashed it?
But what we're asking here is
That's
what
a fact.
scenes could they add in that would actually set up Avengers Doomsday? Well, there's a tiny bit from Bruce meeting the Ancient One that would work perfectly. See, Endgame established this rule for time travel where changing the past actually creates branching timelines instead of changing the future. In the film, Hulk explains it like this.
Changing the past doesn't change the future.
But in the original screenplay, it was the Ancient One who explained this to Bruce.
If you travel to the past from your present, then that past becomes your future.
And your former present becomes the past, which can't now be changed by your new future.
Exactly.
So Bruce's scene with the Ancient One.
What's crazy is Nebula got that all straight off the bat. It took me to watch 2 seasons of Loki to get what he was saying right there. Everything is always going to happen how it always happens. If you go back and you change something, all you're going to do is just make a new timeline. You never change what you thought you were changing in the future. You're just making a new timeline where you prevented that certain thing from happening. But when you prevent one thing from happening, something else comes up. I learned that in the X-Men universe. They took out what was it? They stopped Days of Future Past. They stopped all the mutants from being wiped out from the future Sentinels. And the next thing you know, in the future, you see Apocalypse rising. You know, so you replace one thing with another thing.
Underwent heavy revision, which is probably why he speaks to her as Bruce Banner in the final film, while he's the Hulk in the deleted scenes. Putting the Force Ghost effect on Mark Ruffalo and having Hulk sleep in a chair was a way cheaper way to add this effect at the last minute. So, in the deleted scene, the Ancient One talks about branching timelines and also clarifies,
If someone dies, they will always die.
but the most important part of the scene is at the end, when she gives Bruce a warning.
Power is only useful when it's used, but using it might mean giving it away.
We will return the stones.
I don't mean just the stones.
Now, it is unclear to me what this was intended to mean within the context of Avengers Endgame, probably foreshadowing that Thanos would return for the final battle. But Now, if we were to reinsert this warning at the end of this scene, it takes on a whole new meaning in the multiverse saga. By time traveling, the Avengers have inadvertently given away power over the multiverse. Their actions caused Loki to steal the Tesseract and to replace He Who Remains and to become the overseer of the multiverse. These are all actions that directly led to the creation of an alternate universe, which is the origin of Doctor Doom. However, the most likely scene to insert is a rumored conversation between T'Challa and Doctor Strange. At Tony Stark's funeral, the two of them discussed future threats and how they could defend the world. Now, maybe this was originally hinting around to them forming the Illuminati before Chadwick Boseman passed away. But now this conversation could have a wider implication. Strange was already aware of the multiverse. I mean, we know that from the first Doctor Strange film.
You in this vast multiverse.
And maybe because of this conversation, Shuri or T'Challa would invent a device that can detect incursions. Maybe this is what T'Challa was working on when he died. And
yeah, go ahead and run Endgame back. Give Chadwick Boseman family some more of that money. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to the young one.
maybe he died of a disease he acquired by messing with the multiverse, just to tie everything back into the multiverse. I think for sure this scene between Strange and T'Challa will be added in because it's just vague enough to tease a wider threat, and it would also be Chadwick Boseman's last live-action dialogue in the franchise. Remember, he was featured in an episode of What If.
Sometimes the best weapon in your arsenal is just a good argument.
Aye, aye, Commander.
But there's also a huge opportunity to foreshadow Doctor Doom with the deleted scene Tony at the way station. What's happening to them? So remember how Thanos saw young Gamora in Soul World after he snapped? Well, there was originally a scene after the snap where Tony met his teenage daughter Morgan, who thanked him.
Just worked.
It worked for me. I got to live, grow up.
It was meant to be a goodbye to Tony Stark, to give that character closure. But then it was later replaced on a second round of reshoots when they added in this line.
I am Iron Man.
Now, the Morgan Stark scene was meant to give Tony closure, but it never really made any sense. I mean, Gamora was sacrificed for the stone, so it made sense that she was talking to Thanos in Soul World. So why would a grown-up version of Morgan be there? It would have made more sense, for instance, if Natasha would have showed up. Actually, sidebar, I would love for Natasha to show up in a deleted scene that's after the Hulk snap. Seeing her talk to Bruce in Soul World would have been a button on the romance from Age of Ultron, and it would tell us that Natasha knows her sacrifice was worth it and they saved everyone. And
Disney, Marvel, y'all got a chance to do all of this. Y'all got a chance to do all of this. You want asses back in seats. I see the back-to-back. Again, I just gave y'all the lineup of Marvel's, you know what I'm saying, top hitting all the way to December of this year. TV show, movie, animation, they shooting from all corners right now. Add in all these little deleted scenes and add in some new ones too. We'll support.
Wanda even alluded to this at the funeral.
She knows. They both do.
So maybe instead of Morgan, Tony encounters someone else after the snap. Our own Colton Ogburn, the guy who's trapped in our TV but doesn't know it, so please don't tell him. He threw out a bonkers theory that I actually like. Colton is obsessed with the idea that Tony Stark is biologically Doctor Doom, and that in the 616 universe, the Starks adopted a kid from Latveria and then named him Tony. And the root of this theory is the elevator scene in Endgame when Tony seems surprised that his mom is pregnant with him.
How far along is she? I don't know.
Best dad ever. So Colton sent me this theory. What if Tony sees his birth mother in Soul World talking about Cynthia Von Doom? See, Thanos saw what he lost to achieve his goal. So what did Tony see? What did he lose? The event that sent Tony on his path and his destiny. Everything that led to this moment where he was needed to save the 616 universe from being reduced to its last atom, that was all set into motion when he was taken from his mother. All right.
Hold up. That would make sense with him seeing a grown version of his daughter. That's what he lost. He didn't want to lose Morgan. He didn't want to lose her, but he knew he was going to die so that she could live. So the scene with grown Morgan would be cool.
Personally, I don't think that Tony Stark will actually be Victor Von Doom. It's way too complicated and undermines Tony's arc in all of these movies. But Colton's point raises a fun question, and be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. Who else could Tony see in Soul World? Maybe he could see his counterpart from another universe, Doctor Doom. He could see a vision of the coming multiversal incursion that would let him know that his work isn't done and he can't rest yet. And this could be teasing the resurrection of Tony Stark in Doomsday or Secret Wars. However, I doubt it. Come on, the Russo brothers don't want to undermine Tony's sacrifice. And the intention of that original Morgan scene was to let Tony know that he can move on.
Is it too obvious to say that Tony's been Victor Von Doom this entire time, but in this timeline, he was made to be a hero by He Who Remains? I don't like that, because now that just bears the question of where's our real Tony? Were we ever supposed to have an Iron Man? Do these other universes, do they all have Robert Downey Jr. looking motherfuckers in their Victor Von Doom, and there's no Tony over there? Like, this is what I'm saying. Where's our Tony if this isn't our Tony? I don't like that whole situation. I like maybe he just looks like him. Maybe he stole his face. I don't know, but I don't know. Just, I don't like he was Victor Von Doom all along. That's poop writing. I don't like it. Don't do it.
And we got that moment from Pepper Potts' reshot dialogue.
We're gonna be okay. You can rest now.
The fact is, there just won't be that many deleted scenes that could set up the multiverse saga. Even though Marvel was planning the saga while they were filming Endgame, many details of the story still needed to be worked out. I mean, hell, until a couple years ago, Kang was still the planned villain of the saga. So that means that to truly set up Doomsday, Marvel has to film new scenes, and we have an idea of exactly what this could be. There is, of course, one very silly option that I want to get out of the way. As I said earlier, the multiverse saga technically began when the second Loki took the Tesseract, which means that from that point on in the movie, the multiverse existed. So this means that Doctor Doom could be slinking around in the background, like future Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2. You know, he could be back doing stuff like Where's Waldo or the Quentin Beck cameo when Peter arrives at the airport in Far From Home. Now, I think it's far more likely that the Watcher will be inserted in the sky at some point, like we've already seen in What If, X-Men 97, and Daredevil Born Again. My guess would be in the sky over Vormir, or maybe on the battlefield when Thanos' army arrives. This would be a very light addition that would tie in this movie to...
Nah, hold on. Run that back. The Watcher being inserted on the battlefield with the Avengers versus Thanos. They might put that in the movie. They might run that back and have him in the sky. That would be crazy. Look at this, y'all. That would be crazy. Please add that in.
This would be a very light touch addition that would tie in this movie to the multiverse saga. And on our podcast, Screen Crush Rewind, we've also talked about a really fun, easy possibility. The Endgame credits end with this sound.
I remember that.
That is Tony Stark creating his Iron Man armor from the first film. It was originally meant as a tribute to Tony Stark in these first 11 years of the MCU. But maybe they could play that sound and then show us Doctor Doom forging his armor. It's like a small button, and it's the perfect way to tease the next phase. But if they really want to set up Avengers Doomsday, they have to focus on two characters, Loki and Steve. Loki's TV series is going to be consequential to setting up this movie, and it's going to be hard to sum up 12 episodes of a TV show for a movie audience. But in order for this film to work,
so he like the protector of the universe. So you're talking about Dr. Doom? Yeah, nah, he's not the protector of the universe. He always wants to steal somebody's power and remake the universe in his own fucking name and image and all of that. He always wants to rule something and steal somebody's power. That's Dr. Doom all day long. Oh, the Watcher. Okay, so is he like the protector of the universe, the Watcher? No, the Watcher, Uatu the Watcher, him and his species, his race of watchful beings or whatever, they have all eyes on the multiverse. They're supposed to watch over everything, especially in like this timeline. They're supposed to watch over everything but never interfere. If you watch the first season of What If on Disney Plus, it's animated, that'll give you the best introduction to the Watcher and what he does. So I say you check that out. I wouldn't really check out season 2. It's kind of bap a little bit, but I mean, you could watch it, you know what I'm saying, you roll up something nice or whatever. But yeah, check out season 1 of What If, Disney Plus. That'll give you all the information on the Watcher. Yeah. He watches over every universe in the multiverse. He can see everything going on that we can't see, but he can never interfere. They're never allowed to interfere.
They need to establish what Loki's doing now and the existence of the multiversal tree. So imagine this. There's a post-credit scene. We go back to Steve and Peggy dancing just like at the end of the movie. But then we zoom out past Earth, past galaxies, and out of a black hole. This is just like the beginning of Loki episode 6 when the camera pulled out of a universe to show the sacred timeline. And remember, we began that zoom out with this same song.
Time isn't too many meters off.
True.
This is implying even back then that Steve going back in time to be with Peggy was a consequential event that's going to have repercussions in the future. Repercussions that could begin the story of Avengers Doomsday. So the song Time Goes By plays out as we zoom out and out and out and out, and finally we see the multiversal tree. And then, just like in Loki episode 6, we crash zoom back in to see Loki watching Steve and Peggy dance. His eyes then shoot open and he says one word: Doom. And maybe right in front of him, there stands Victor Von Doom, ready to steal Loki's power. Because remember, that's what Doom's always doing in the comics. He's always going after celestial cosmic beings and trying to steal their power for himself. I think this is the kind of scene we're most likely going to get. We need something.
Would y'all be ready to see that? Would y'all be ready to possibly? Because I know, here's the thing about Victor Von Doom. Yeah, fire, right? Here's the thing about Doom. He's not going to let anybody just walk away, even if he stole your power. He's going to kill you because he don't want you, you know what I'm saying, trying to spin the block. So you would like it if his last words was Doom. You don't want to see Doom? You just want him to see, like, shoot his eyes over and say Doom. If we see Robert Downey Jr. pop up as Dr. Doom in front of Loki in that post-credit scene, that'll break the internet all the way until Doomsday come out. Saying that would be a fire new ending. Okay. I would like it if maybe they cut to a scene of Doom killing all the Council of Kings and Loki's watching that and he says Doom. We could see something like that. Y'all seen the little AI that they put together of Doom destroying the Council of Kings, right? Y'all seen that, right?
That establishes what Loki has been up to, and also that can reintroduce Steve and actually shows us the new threat, Dr. Doom. Now, a lot of fans have been complaining about this news. But why? Well, by making Doomsday a direct sequel to Endgame, it is kind of like saying, oh, you don't need to have watched those 100 hours of the multiverse saga stories. But I think it makes total sense if Doomsday is a follow-up to Endgame because they're both Avengers movies. There's a lot of movie fans who don't watch everything Marvel, but they like Avengers movies. Like, if you only watch the Avengers movies of the Infinity Saga plus Captain America Civil War, you can watch just those films and they tell one ongoing story. So for these fans, of course Doomsday should follow the events of Endgame because they're both Avengers movies. Not everybody is hanging on every sentence that Marvel puts out there. Just us. So to keep it simple, this movie should just be a follow-up to Avengers Endgame. And then if somebody did watch Spider-Man No Way Home or Multiverse of Madness or the show Loki, then they're going to be rewarded with a little bit of extra knowledge about the background of the multiverse. And if not, hopefully you can still watch Doomsday, no strings attached. And as for projects like She-Hulk or Shang-Chi mattering or not, what matters is they're...
No. Y'all are gonna have to get intricate. If motherfuckers can sit through the Batman in the movie theaters as long as that movie was, y'all gonna have to get intricate for Doomsday. You're gonna have to get intricate because there's no proper build up to Dr. Doom. You're gonna have to get intricate. Sorry.
good stories that you enjoyed watching. Not everything has to connect and be called back to in a big culmination Avengers film. That being said, I fully expect all of these characters to have major callbacks in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. So hopefully Marvel has learned their lesson from the multiverse saga. We need Avengers movies as tentpoles for this franchise to give us the sense that this is all building toward a larger story. But what do you guys think?
Salute to Screen Crush, man. Oh, this was a great session, man. I'm fried died and of course laid to the side. This was a lot of education. It's building more and more towards Avengers Doomsday. The Doomsday clock is on, y'all. Will y'all be there in theaters? Are you going back to theaters to watch Avengers Endgame with all the possible theories of new scenes they could add in, new scenes they could shoot? I'm here for all of that, man. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Salute to everybody that pulled up in the chat, man. It's the Offenders Initiative podcast, man. Y'all be easy for the weekend. See y'all later, man. We out.